This is AFcast, the video game podcast. And here's your host, Malcolm Sheaver.
With the continued worry of COVID-19 or coronavirus, people have been wondering how the video game industry has and will respond to the pandemic. Will they falter? Will we lose some of our favorite games? This week on AFcast, we are talking about how COVID-19 has affected the video game industry. We are first going to talk about the most simple part of everything that has been going on, gaming events. So far, every gaming event like E3 or GDC have been canceled or postponed almost through the whole year. Luckily, we already had the Game Awards earlier this year, so we most likely won't have to look for that being canceled unless COVID-19 lasts a lot longer than we expect. And showcase events aren't the only gaming events being canceled or delayed. A lot of league matches have been canceled as well. Like EA has suspended all of their competitive gaming events like EA Sports and also Apex Legends. And companies are preparing to actually do online conferences for people to attend. And hopefully they get that up and running. And if they could get it up and running, then everything should run just as smooth as the event itself. Because most people who watch like E3 pretty much watch it through like Twitch or some other streaming service. Not a lot of people gather. But one big problem with that as well is that a lot of the gaming developers also have to gather, and a lot of community like event managers have to get together in order to actually prepare these events. So a video conference definitely won't be as good. But I still think it's best to at least get the information out about what's going to happen. Hopefully E3 can get back up and running, but I doubt that they're going to have any time after all of this ends to actually prepare E3, considering that it's debated to last through June, and then that's about it. COVID-19, that is. So it's all just speculation for right now. The same thing is happening with video games. So a lot of games were expected to release on certain dates or in certain quarters this year. Some have been completely canceled, but most have been delayed. The ones that have been completely canceled, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're just gone now, like we're never going to see them. It just means that now it's going to be completely undetermined when they're going to start actually getting production done on it again, and so they have no clue when it's going to be releasing. But hopefully games that are released in the fourth quarter this year, which for those of you who don't know, that's like October, November, December. Each quarter is 3 months. Then those should hopefully be fine. But yeah, a lot of games have been delayed, so which is pretty sad. So for downloading video games and stuff, there's been a lot of talk of the bandwidth for the internet being used due to everyone being home and online at the same time. And it's true, it is a problem. And Akame, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but he is the CEO of the Content Delivery Network, or CDN. And he said that they are going to be reducing gaming software downloads at peak times, completing the downloads at the normal fast speeds late at night. And that was a quote. So hopefully we are looking forward to still being able to get all of our downloads done, especially with everyone now buying stuff online versus going to stores and buying actual physical copies, which is what I do a lot of the time, because I like to see I like to have like all of my bookshelf full of all the different game cases that I have. So yeah, and only downloads affect the internet to a high degree. Playing online games take almost no bandwidth in comparison to streaming services like Netflix or YouTube. And the reason that I'm pointing that out specifically is because a lot of people right now are blaming video games for smaller bandwidth. But honestly, video games don't take up any bandwidth whatsoever when you're playing online games. It's actually mostly Netflix or YouTube, like I just said, that will actually take up a big part of that bandwidth. And so yeah, so people are for some reason getting mad at video gamers, and honestly, it's them that they should be blaming. They should be blaming themselves, because watching Netflix and stuff like that, it takes up so much. Like, there is a huge difference between the two. And you should just look it up. Like, if you see the scale of difference between it, sure, there are some video games that take up more bandwidth than others, but I don't think there's any video games that take up nearly as much as Netflix does if you were to be watching Netflix. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that watching TV actually gives out more bandwidth, or takes more bandwidth than video games do. So just keep that in mind. And some servers have been crashing because of the amount of people that have been trying to join, because usually the servers for video games have a capacity that they are used to, because some people are at work during certain times of the day, and then some people aren't. And so usually they're able to scale that accordingly. But now, since everyone is home, everyone has tried to join at the same time. And some video games were able to get their games so that way they were able to hold all of those people, because they knew it was going to happen. Some of them not so fast, and so a lot of them have crashed. I've heard that some of it even crashed for like a week. I'm pretty sure everything by now is fixed, so now pretty much anyone can join. I think there's some companies that can't afford that right now. So that sucks for the player base and the company themselves, but hopefully they have figured stuff out. But now video game companies are very invested in their communities and have prepared for increased player counts overall. So yeah, and also this is definitely the time to get in word about certain glitches and stuff like that, because I've heard that they are really looking for, now that everyone is kind of grinding every game, companies are really looking for what flaws people are seeing constantly, because it is a much better trial run when there is like thousands of people playing their game at once, and it allows them to see more to what scale glitches and stuff are either being exploited or just are happening in the game that are frustrating people. So definitely make sure that you let people know, you let companies know on like Twitter or something, that that you have these worries and stuff like that. And if you want to know how to do that properly, I have another podcast episode that's talking about video game marketing. It came out a few weeks ago. You shouldn't have to scroll down very far. But it is there, and I would recommend listening to it if you are planning on actually giving feedback to these companies. So I also briefly wanted to talk about some benefits and deficits of playing video games a lot. So video games are an amazing social tool right now, because we can't talk to people in person. And sure, we have social media and stuff, but it's hard to really like get in with someone, if you know what I mean, like over DMs, or if you're just talking on Twitter or Facebook or something like that. Especially since those conversations can become controversial and heated a lot of the time. Video games are a really good way to put people together, and you can get really big groups of people together and play games, and it's been really fun. Sure, it's the same as it was before, but now you've also got more people that you can discover and play with, which makes it nice as well. So yeah, so if you aren't able to go over and hang out with friends, it is always a great idea to talk with people online. And it can suck, though, if you have an Xbox or PlayStation, because you have to pay, and currently income is terrible for most people right now, because a lot of people have physical jobs. People can't always work from home. So yeah. But some deficits are that it really pulls your focus sometimes. So like if you have chores that you need to do, like I need to do, like I've been lacking on that side of things for some time now as well. I've gotten better at it now, but it kind of sucks because you kind of just dive your head in. Not to mention that it's not great if you're staying inside all the time. Make sure that you get out and you exercise, or even if you stay inside and exercise, it's still good no matter what. But definitely make sure that you at least stretch something other than your thumbs when playing video games. So yeah. And following up on that, I am also currently out of a job due to COVID-19, which means it is harder to buy new content to review for you guys. So I've been setting up a Patreon for a while now, and I will be releasing it soon. So please consider donating to AFCast. It would help us out a lot with getting good content out to you guys on time. Because I need to actually buy the games that I review, updates that I review. Because not all of those things I have full access to when I don't have money. So just make sure that you guys donate if you can. It would definitely help out a lot during this time. And I'll definitely send out an announcement on either our social media platforms or even in the next podcast episode if it goes out by that time that we have actually set up a Patreon. So yeah. But in general, stay safe and let me know how you are doing and what games you are playing during the pandemic. I'm interested to hear your answers. And thanks so much, and game on.
Find AFCast on Instagram and Twitter, @AF Community, for any updates on future podcast episodes. If you want to join the community Discord, find the link in the description or on the website, afcommunity.com. Special thanks to DJ Augie for making the music for this podcast.